all be as perfect as me. Joking. I mean, if you're not blaring, give me more. What are you doing? What are you listening to? I'm concerned for you. Can we have a chat one-on-one? I just want to check in on you. But, like, a football game. Okay, I get it. Make the noise. Whatever. Baseball game. Sure. Basketball game. Sure. But the master, like, who just takes any opportunity like that to just, anyway, no, you can be, I guess, any volume you prefer during any sort of event, but I'm just upset at them. And I'll tell you why. Because, number one, I just get really bad vibes from him. And this is why. So, you guys know, I love Rob Thomas. I love Matchbox 20. I love just Rob Thomas on his own. And so, hello, Smooth, Mr. Santana, and Rob Thomas. Possibly my all-time favorite song. That song, no matter what, like, I just don't care what's going on. That song will always brighten my day, my mood, no matter what. So, anyways, and just set aside Rob Thomas, like, clearly I love Rob Thomas. He's a very talented, but Mr. Carlos Santana, that man, right? He reminds me of a West Side Story. Anyways, so this upstairs neighbor claims to play guitar. And by claim, I mean I think he only plays when he gets drunk. And every time before he does it, he stumbles over it. Like, he literally stumbles over his guitar. And it ends up doing a little falling thing. And then he goes in playing. And I just, one night, and by night, I mean it was like 6 p.m. and I was showering. I had had a really rough day. And so naturally I had, Smooth going in the shower, and they're my upstairs neighbors. So Smooth may or may not have been playing just a little too loud, and I'm pretty sure that they got like a broom or something and started hitting the floor. And it was not that, like, my job, my life, my outlet, my safe spaces are based on sound, right? So I'm more in tune with sound and respectful of that than the average person. Again, these are people that scream like they're watching the Super Bowl every day, and it sounds like there are machine guns coming from their apartment. All day and all night. So, anyway, Smooth was going maybe a little too loud, and they knocked. And I just want to say the disrespect for my man, Mr. Santana, was just appalling. First off, you can knock. I mean, you better not knock Miss Britney Spears. But if you're going to, this is again a guy who claims to play guitar. No, I've never actually talked to them, but you claim you even have a guitar in your home, and you just knocked and told me to turn. The disrespect. I'm sorry. Nope. this is so weird every day, so bizarre. You know? Like I thought, okay, well, maybe it's just some like ritualistic behavior or something. You know? I have severe, that by the way is not me making light of OCD, I'm trying to be empathetic. I have had OCD for the past 12 years of my life at least. Yes, diagnosed. Yes, treated. Kind of. Partly. Half-assed treated. But I spent a lot of time in an outpatient program. When I was like 13 to 14 years old. I don't really ever talk about it. It was a lot. It was at Children's Hospital in Dallas. And it was weeks long, so I didn't live in a big area like that. We had to travel. I lived in Texas, but Dallas is like 6 hours away. I'm sorry. So, one time in the mental hospital. Oh, I'm about to get tears in my eyes. This is so funny. Oh, you just had to be there. Oh. So, anyways, I was tricked / lied to get out there. This isn't the funny part. It's actually really sad. So I was lied to, tricked, and thrown in the program. And I was just at that time, I had been sick for almost 2 years at that point of my life. And I was just a bitter child with a lot of OCD, with perfectionist tendencies, and I was just like, I guess bitter is just kind of the way it was. And not because it's funny, but that's like my first reaction. When this is just for example, we knew what day my sweet puppy Catalina was going to be put down on, and when I was told that day, I just hysterically started laughing, like hysterically laughing. That's over my puppy, who I loved with all of my being and still do. And her passing has absolutely wrecked my existence recently. So if that just says anything, I laugh at really awful, inappropriate times growing up when I would get in trouble. That's what would piss my mom off. And my sister and I, we would fuel each other back and forth. So if Grace looked at me, oh my God, we would start. And even now, even as adults, if something bad is going on or whatever's happening and my sister looks at me, we're not going to be able to stop laughing. It's the giggle fits and we just can't stop. So anyways, that's what would piss my mom off, is my sister and I could never quit laughing, and she felt like we were laughing at her, but I really didn't think that she understood that we just couldn't stop laughing, and it wasn't anything personal. We just literally couldn't stop. So anyway, I always laugh at inappropriate times, because masking with humor is just always the way to go. But anyways, I'm usually really straight-faced, and I say things, I'm just really sarcastic, very dry, dark sense of humor most of the time. And I got lied to be put, or to like literally go to this program in Dallas. So I was already not having it. I wasn't having it, and I go in for this evaluation, like this psych evaluation, and I'm not kidding you. I go into a room, it's like off a damn movie, and there's like 6 different doctors. There's some student people that are observing, and they all have their notes out and their legs crossed and their white coats, whatever, and they're sitting there and they're asking me questions, and it's just me and my mom, and I did not want to be there. Oh my God, talk about a really emotionally shut off kid. I just wasn't having it. So they're asking all these questions, and I'm just whatever. And so one of them asks me, Maddie, if you could change anything, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Well, the only thing that I could think of off the top of my head, and because I wasn't taking it seriously and I didn't care, like for some reason, me being evaluated by these doctors reminded me of Miss Congeniality. And so I looked straight at the doctor and I said, world peace. Like in some really smart aleck, like, anyway, so I said world peace. And my mom starts dying laughing in this evaluation. Like, then we both look crazy, right? She's throwing me in this program. Now my mom looks crazy. We're both crazy, because then I just, let out like a light giggle, because I knew she was the only one that was gonna understand it. And she was the only one who understood. Number one, she was the only one who caught the reference. Number two, she just knew that that's classic Maddie. Like, I throw her in this program trying to help her, whatever it is. And of course, she's sitting here quoting Miss Congeniality, Step Brothers, whatever it is, because classic Maddie. And so now we both look crazy. And she couldn't quit giggling after that, so it was just little spurts of giggles as the questions, grew more intense and such. So, anyways, you such a giggle. Oh, so funny. World peace. And I knew no one was gonna get it. But I got it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't really talk about that experience too much just because I have really blocked so much of it out because it was just such a really trying time in my life. And I just shut down so hardcore while in that program. Sorry, I'm hiccuping really badly. And they started labeling me with the most outrageous diagnoses that I've ever heard in my entire life. Like that I had behavioral issues and all these things when that's not what I was in there for. That's not what I was in there for at all. I was not a child with behavior issues by any means. I was a child that was a perfectionist. No one ever had to get on me for anything. I mean, I was a smart ass 100%. I had a mouth that, I still find my mouth very entertaining. How can I say? So I was talking to a family member, a loved one, the other day on the phone, and this family member was laying out in the sun. It was really hot. They were having like margaritas or whatever. And if you guys have ever seen Billy Madison in the movie, in Billy Madison, they, in the beginning of the movie, have they like get too much sun. They've had too many melon daiquiris, and Adam Sandler is seeing this penguin everywhere. And so I get off the phone with this family member, and I'm like, okay, well, enjoy your daiquiris and say hello to the penguin for me, who is their partner. And I was making a reference to the movie, but this family member didn't catch that I was saying that the penguin, that was a figment of his imagination because he had been out in the sun too long, right? And had a few too many drinks. And so this family member thought that I was calling their partner a penguin, calling them a penguin, and it sounded disrespectful and just not nice, just kind of snarky and bitchy. And I was just like, okay, well, you have fun, tell the penguin I said hello. That one was unintentional. That one was unintentionally meaning, or I wasn't meaning to be a bitch right then, but I definitely make snarky. Oh my god. Yeah. No, I come up with some really good ones, and I always did as a kid, and both of my parents are very funny people. My mom is basically Chelsea Handler. She takes anything and everything too far. She's Chelsea Handler minus the flashing. Chelsea Handler loves to, have some type of nudity going. My mom isn't, she doesn't do that, but everyone tells her that, she reminds them of Chelsea Handler. And then, my dad is very Adam Sandler character-like. So two very funny people. Two very, very funny. And my mom is more quick-witted. My mom is more dry, quick-witted. So I definitely get it from her. So it's not like either it was just, for many reasons, it wasn't a very good experience. It wasn't a very good experience, but I do wish that you guys could have been there, and I wish that I had like a little memory chip that I could show you of me quoting Miss Congeniality and other movie quotes while getting a psych evaluation. If only. Fun times. Wish I could not do it over all over again. Wish I could not do it over all over again. Yeah. Okay, loves, I'm sorry. My phone died, but I am going to clean up, go brush my teeth. This was a dark acai bowl, and so it's kind of like it discolored my lips and such. And then I think I'm gonna try and sit in front of my window just to get a little sunlight from what is left of the day. Because when you get up at almost 3 p.m., you don't get that much time with the sunlight that is left from the day. So I'm feeling some anxiety spiking and just not feeling good. So I think I'm gonna do that. Maybe try and listen to some music or a podcast or something. Maybe a podcast, just something to keep my mind occupied and not just let my thoughts run. So thank you for eating a little snack with me and talking about some fun stays in my outpatient program. Some fun times. And by the way, I don't ever mean to offend anyone or hurt you or truly feel like I'm making absolute light out of mental health. That is not my intention. I don't always know how to express exactly how I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and I've been through a lot of trauma, and particularly that time in my life was a really, really hard one. And expressing just how challenging that was for me, sometimes I just kind of have numbness from that time almost. And masking with humor is always the way that I go. But there was suffering. There was suffering. I still suffer. Mental health is not it's not always a joke. I just sometimes don't know any other